Minutes. Let's go in here, and I think we are live.
Oh, Lee Taylor is live now.
Got it. Let me just close that down.
How we turned our relationship around. Oh,
I know. Hello and welcome to the Naked Couple podcast, where we're going to talk about how we turned our relationship around.
Yep.
How we went from being on the brink of ending it all,
being broke.
How
many times we broke up? 5?
I don't know. Lost count. But there was a few little mini breakups that kind of was never really breakups, but I think we was just testing each other.
Yeah.
We was pushing each other. We wanted to get a reaction from each other to see where it would go, and I think that was as a result of us both being a little bit insecure.
Yeah.
On how the relationship was. But we want to talk about all of that, and we want to take you through a little journey of us getting together, how exciting it was to really being at each other's throats, to then turning everything around and becoming an engaged couple, due to be married
August
20th of August this year, all being well and good. So it has been a massive roller coaster for us. It's been something that neither of us, I think, was prepared for.
No.
When we went into the relationship. We got into a relationship really quickly, didn't we? We'd come out of relationships, and I'd been in one for a very, very long time. He'd been in one, not quite as long, but still a substantial amount of time. We knew each other through work, so we had a little bit of a background history together. We knew we liked each other. But from going from work colleagues to boyfriend, girlfriend, living
live together and have kids from previous relationships.
Yeah, coming together, this like blended family in a new area was challenging.
Petrifying.
It was. I mean, you look back on it now. I don't know how we made it. Really,
no.
We obviously loved each other a lot. Because
we still love each other. It's not love. Yeah. It's not the past, is it?
Well, I love you more than I did back then. You know, obviously, you've maybe stayed on that level, but I'm digging myself out of a hole, or trying to at least. But it was a massive, massive learning curve. We were just chucked in the deep end, weren't we? And we literally, it was sink or swim.
Yep.
And I'm going to be honest, there was more than one time where I thought, this ain't for me.
No, I don't think we got a lot of sympathy from people around us as well. When we got together, nobody really thought that we were going to make it. There was just too much.
I think everyone thought it was a little work fling
that
would fizzle out. And you're younger than me, and I would get bored. Or you would get bored. There were so many rumours and so many people saying this ain't going to work.
Yeah.
And they was nearly right. We nearly didn't work, did we?
No.
I mean, there was all that passion and excitement at the start, which was I never had anything like that in my life. It was fantastic. I was absolutely, and I still am, besotted with you. I couldn't get enough. But there was elements to your personality back then where it was challenging for me, and so not what I was used to.
What would you say was challenging?
We didn't know back then what we know now, with how to cope with things and how to better ourselves and how to deal with problems. And you'd come out of a relationship where it was a bit volatile, let's to say the least, and you was used to heavy arguments. And I'd come out of a very placid relationship where I was the leader and wasn't used to arguments. And you would quite often blow up on certain things I did and attack me. And
not physically.
No, not physically. No, never physically. But sometimes I was like a rabbit in the headlights. I didn't know what had happened, what I'd done wrong.
Oh, there was that thing that you used to say, from hero to zero.
From hero to zero. You used to build me up, and it was, this is fantastic, and everything was great, and boom, 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 boom. And then bang! you would just whip my feet out from underneath me. I would come crashing down, and you would be attacking me for doing something I had no idea I was doing, and I didn't know where
That's
it come
because
from.
you were not in present and you did not see yourself doing all these things that really annoyed me.
And we spoke a bit about that last week, and
Mhm.
you're absolutely right. There was, I know I contributed a lot towards it, but I didn't know what I was contributing,
No.
and we wasn't having constructive talks about what irked us with each other.
Oh, we didn't talk at all. Like,
It was just heads butting.
yeah.
And I used to feel that I had to defend myself because I knew in my heart I was trying to do the right thing, and I wasn't trying to annoy you or trying to wind you up, and then I would get smacked for it verbally. So I would try to justify what I've been doing, which used to wind you up even more because you used to see it as me not taking responsibility, I think.
No, you would. Oh, you were so annoying, honestly. Like, knowing how volatile things were in the past and knowing how much courage I need to take to talk about things. And I'm in the middle of the conversation, and you start picking up on my English and the mistakes that I make and the way I say the word, and you're like, "What's even that? Blah 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 blah. You need to learn to speak English first."
But you say about, but I never see it as, yeah, okay, these things happened to you in the past. I saw this as me being me, not doing anything wrong. I never compared myself to anybody else.
Mhm.
So for me, it was, why are you just really jumping on this? You know, I can't understand it. And you would go on so much, and it would go on and on and on and on. And in the end, I used to get such the ump with it.
Mhm.
I used to pick on you a little bit just to kind of get my own back, and just try to throw you off a little bit and
And you did.
stop you just persevering
Mhm.
and end that argument, because I knew if I just picked up on a few little things, it would get a little bit much, the argument would end, and then we just wouldn't talk to each other.
Yeah. We had quiet weeks.
We had really quiet weeks, but we didn't just have our personalities clashing. We had new children to cope with. You know, I wasn't used to having your daughter, and you wasn't used to having my daughter, and we wasn't used to sharing
Mhm.
our children, and there becomes discipline issues, there becomes, you know, attention issues, you know, who do you go to? It's really, really confusing when you get together. Change of dynamics, all of
New
these
way
things.
of living. We moved in here.
Yeah, yeah. And then I had the extra pressure of missing my daughter because she wasn't living with us. And I would feel so guilty. I would feel terrible because, you know, I would be having fun with you and your daughter, and not knowing where my little girl was or what she was doing, whether she was happy, being looked after, or sad. And I would feel so guilty. And it used to depress me. And that was another contributing factor towards me sometimes.
That we would literally only had fun and do things, and we did have your daughter over, and that was once every 2 weeks. And I remember sitting thinking, what the hell did I get myself into? I've got this grumpy man sitting in here, sitting on the bed with his head on the floor, not having a clue what is going on around, not listening, just living in his doodleland. That's not the life I want to have.
No, it's not. And it's not the life I wanted either. And what we want to talk about today is how we come through that life, how we come through that. We call it the ugly truth, don't we, when we coach people, where the reality of what it is, and how we realised what we kind of got ourselves into, and made decisions on how we can how we can change it for the better, or end it.
Yeah.
And there was conversations like that, wasn't there? There was conversations where, you know, all that passion and fun and thoughts about getting together and everything being perfect has kind of gone. Faded away. Is it worth it? What do we do?
I remember the time when, for the first time in 16 years, I called my mom and I said to my mom, Mom, I want to go home. I'm done with this country. I'm done with all these people in my life. I just want to go back. I want to be home.
And I got to be honest, there was a time when you told me that, and there was a part of me that thinking, yeah, that's all right. I don't mind that
Yeah.
because it gets me out.
Yep.
And I don't have to end it.
Mm-hmm.
She can just go. And there was part of me that's thinking, well, what do I do? Do I stay here in this area? I was making little plans on my own, you know, and do I move back to be a little bit nearer my daughter to see her a bit more? All these thoughts rushed through my mind, and I'm sure you had the same thing.
I got to the point we had lots of issues with the kids and the whole blending process, and it got to the point when I felt that I had to my life was ruled by the 10-year-old girl who wasn't living with us, and everything was based on if she's happy with this, that's okay. If she's not happy with this, that's not okay. And we had lots of moments when she desperately tried to get in between us. And I remember when we went to Poland, there was a few little situations when my mom, she was following you, like literally when you went to the toilet.
Not your mum, obviously.
No.
Your mum never followed
your
me to the
daughter.
toilet.
Yeah, my mom looked at me and she said, well, what the hell have you done? That child is just screaming that they don't leave me. Just leave all this behind and come back to me. And it was shortly after we lost the baby, wasn't it? When she was saying, how dare you have a baby without asking me my permission, and she wouldn't talk to you. And I had a miscarriage. And I remember standing in front of the ice cream shop, and Elizabeth didn't really understand what happened to the baby.
Elizabeth's your daughter.
Yeah, Elizabeth is my daughter, and she still tapped my tummy and she was like, oh baby, you need to come out because I can't wait to meet you. And you turned around and you're like, Annabelle, I promise you there's no baby. We're not having the baby. That baby is gone. Elizabeth is too little to understand. And my heart was like breaking inside on so many different levels. Or there was that time when we were doing adult things and she just walks in with the torch. Are you guys okay? And it was just getting a bit too much. And I remember the moment when I sat down and I was thinking, I just can't be coping with all that shit. It's not how I want to live my life, and I want to be in a relationship, and I don't want to be ruled by a 10-year-old who is not happy with that, and everybody has to be like, yes, Annabelle, you're right, we're going to do whatever you want. No, there's more of us that needs to be considered. And the times that I struggled with the most was the switch in your personality. You would change so much when we had the weekends and Annabelle was coming over. It was like, I've got my daughter, nothing else matters. And it was like you were ashamed to give me a hug or give me a kiss. You would sit across the table and text me, I miss you. Why the fuck do you miss me? You're just sitting like this far away from me. Why do you text me? Or you would walk into the room and grab my hand and then give me a kiss. And it's like, well, why can't we do it when we're downstairs? I'm not hiding anything and stuff. And it was really upsetting. And there was the time when I could not see things getting better. And looking into the future, it was like, I don't want to be in this.
No, and I couldn't see it getting better at some stage because I couldn't see a way of keeping everyone happy. And that was the fundamental mistake we both made. We tried to keep everyone happy. And when you keep everyone happy, you can't keep yourself happy.
No.
And we was running around doing so much, trying to protect everybody, trying to stop everybody from feeling down about, you know, relationships breaking up and new relationships coming in and new people coming in. And it just become so consuming, didn't it? And you know, we're both parents and we do anything for our kids. We will try to protect them as much as possible and give them the best opportunities in life we can. And I think the mistake certainly I made was going too far and forgetting everybody else around me, because the way I looked at it was, out of everybody in my failed relationship, Annabelle was hurt the most. you know, and she could see, you know, you really benefiting, Elizabeth
Mhm.
really benefiting, because you come into a new relationship where there was fun.
Mhm.
You wasn't shouted at. You
No.
wasn't, you know, some of the things that will happen to you in your previous relationship wasn't happening anymore. So the way I looked at it is my daughter went backwards, yours come forward, and so did you, and I overcompensated for that loss she had and tried to make up for that.
Mhm.
And when she come over, give her the best time she possibly could have. But actually, what that did was it drove a wedge
Yep.
between
There
everybody
used to
else.
be some Ruskas and Taylor's team, and we used to compete. And when we were going to Prezzo, you're like way ahead, like Annabelle. We stay behind, no consideration of whoever is.
Hmm.
In the end, I did have my blow ups, but that was the build up of all these little things because I couldn't talk about them on the spot, and I did not have that courage to approach the subject because I always felt that Annabelle is a taboo subject. You cannot say how you feel about things because you're gonna kick off and you're not gonna be happy about things.
Yeah, and that was the other thing. I never understood that. I just saw it that if you said anything negative about the way she was, well, she's a child, you know, and she's been hurt, and I am her dad. I've got to do as much as possible to make sure she's as happy as possible, and no one's going to stop me doing that. And I'm not saying that was right. It wasn't right, because I didn't take your feelings into consideration. Um, I just looked at her as my be all and end all, and whatever happens, she's the priority.
Mm-hmm.
But we learn.
Yeah.
We learn the hard way,
Mm-hmm.
and luckily, we're both smart enough to be able to analyze things. We're both experienced enough with our coaching business to see when things are going wrong. And it wasn't all bad, was it? You know.
No, it wasn't all bad, but we had to hit the rock bottom to get to the point where the only way is up.
Yeah.
And it was a breakup or makeup. And I know exactly where that breakup or makeup things because Annabelle is smart and she pretty quickly worked out that the longer she plays the soap opera and she's upset and she's crying, she gets more time with you and everybody's running around and you used to lock yourself in the room with her for a few hours, forgetting about the plans we made and what we all wanted to do because we both had every other weekend with the girls. It wasn't just Annabelle's weekend, it was also us in there. And it was just getting to the point when she was crying pretty much every time. And it was that one meal that we went for with our friends. And she just sat down, grumpy as hell. After we went to the fun fair where all the kids were having so much fun, she just had a really grumpy face. And I remember Elizabeth said that she didn't want to come home with us. She wanted to go to
the friend's house.
And I was thinking, this is really not on because that should be us having the family time. And I remember I asked you to take Annabelle for a walk.
Yeah, it did drive a wedge. And in fairness to her, she's a young child. She doesn't know how to talk about things that she needed, and she did what she felt she needed to do to get some alone time with me, and that was us not structuring things correctly, and allowing her to do that, and not realizing actually she does need a little bit extra, and she needs something to help her. And when we made those realizations and we worked it all out, then it did change.
It did. I mean, I think we were getting into solution. The first thing was to know that there's a problem, and is to identify that if things don't change and we don't take responsibility for what's going on, we're not gonna make it. It's gonna be you going this way, I'm going this way. That's it. All the heartache and everything, and none of us really wanted it. I didn't want to break up. You didn't want to break up, did you?
No, 100% I didn't. I always believed that there was something there. I always believed we had a future. I always believed we could end up winning and getting everything we wanted, because I believe that about anything, and you do as well. You know, we're positive people. We believe in we believe anything, everything with our kids. You know, I was torn. You know, the girls used to do dancing competitions, didn't they? And invariably, they always looked at me, didn't they?
Was, yeah.
And they always wanted the approval from me, and I didn't know what one of them to look at. Because I thought, I looked at this one, that one, he's getting yumps. I look at that one, it was just tiring. It was exhausting. It was so draining trying to keep everybody happy. And anyone that's listening to this that has gone into a blended family scenario will probably know what we're talking about. You'll probably get it. It's maybe if you haven't had that experience, it's not so relevant, but you will get it when you come out of a relationship and go into a new one. There's kids involved. There is so much to consider.
Yep.
And not everybody cares. Not everybody worries about what their kids go through, and they're selfish and they just get into a relationship and to hell with the kids. They're having fun. We're not like that, are we?
No.
We've got our kids right up there with us, and we want them to benefit in anything and everything we do. We want them to have a lovely, fantastic, loving environment to be nurtured in.
Yep.
And we wasn't given it for a long time because we wasn't functioning as a proper family. I don't think we see ourselves as a proper family. Like you said, it was the Taylors and the Zimbushkas. We was kind of used against us in many ways. And I know we made it into a joke and it was fun, but it wasn't the right thing to do, was it? Because we wasn't a family.
Competition and that split into division. Yeah.
And like you hit the nail on the head, we had to get rock bottom before we realised, actually, we can't continue like this. Yeah, we've got elements of fun, and life is good in snippets, and we have a giggle here and there, but there's just too much crap going on to function properly as a unit.
It's not the way we wanted it to be, and it wasn't fair, and it wasn't nice. And I think the first step to make things better was the honesty. And that's the honesty between us. When I told you how I feel, you didn't kick off, you took it on board. You told me how you feel, how torn you were, and how guilty you feel, so I could understand a lot of the actions. But also becoming honest with Annabelle. And I do remember that because for so long we thought she's little and we have to protect her as a child, and we wouldn't be vulnerable in front of her. We wouldn't talk to her about how we feel and how her behavior is making us feel and how this whole picture is falling apart rather than becoming together. And I remember when you came back from that walk, I was at the point when I don't really give a shit which way it goes. It's either gonna get better or it's just gonna fall apart. And I was really honest. I did say to her, I wasn't talking to you, I was talking to Annabelle. I said, Annabelle, I stopped enjoying the weekends when you come over, because every time you come over, you either shut yourself in the bedroom, you cry, you don't contribute to anything, you don't participate, and I've got the feeling that I'm not doing anything right because you're constantly sad. And I talked to her about the past, how we did all the crazy things. We did the fashion show made out of the bin bags, how we were the me know better team and we danced to the baby shark, how we did the baking and pancake cakes and all the junk modeling and stuff. And I said to her, I don't feel like doing any of this at the moment because you give me such an attitude. And I remember that click when she started thinking about things.
And that was the best thing we could have done. We learned that actually we're not being honest with the kids. We're not actually giving them a chance because they don't know where they stand either.
No.
And I used to have the thought that I need to be strong. I need to never show my daughter that I'm sad, never show her I miss her, never show her that I struggle with her not being around, because if she sees that, she's going to get sad and she's going to get upset because Daddy's upset. But actually, she got upset because she thought Daddy was never upset.
And I didn't care.
And I didn't care.
So I didn't miss her.
No, because
you had so much fun when she wasn't around.
And you can't blame her for thinking that, because you would come over and we would try to really lift everything up and do so much. So she would go home thinking, wow, they've got so much. This is so great for him and for her and for the daughter, Aga's daughter, Elizabeth, and I'm missing out. She never see the tears, she never see the struggle, she never see the pain, she never see me dropping her off and getting tearful driving home because I'm going to miss her so much. I hid that from her.
Yeah, she never see us working hard for the 2 weeks so we can actually take that time out.
Yeah. So for her, I don't blame her. She's, you can't blame her at all. She's a child, and she acted out in the only way she could to try to make sense out of everything. And it wasn't until I learned to be a little bit more vulnerable and put myself out there and talk to her about how I feel and tell her that I miss her, tell her that I'm sad when she's not there. And you did the same. Tell her you're not enjoying yourself when she's here. That she had that realization that, life isn't this fairy tale make believe weekend, and that continues without me. It's real. It's hard. It's tough. And Daddy does care. Daddy does love me. Daddy is sad when I'm not here. And once I did that and was honest with her, mine and her relationship improved even more, didn't it? And I think it's testament to her in many ways that she felt so strongly about me and you and Elizabeth that she carried on coming, because she could have said, no, I don't want to come anymore, I'm not coming. She could obviously found it painful, but she kept turning up. And okay, there was
she
times.
made a promise on that day that she will try her best to participate, and that was a game changer.
It was, yeah,
but that was just a part of what we did to make things better.
Oh, 100%. That's just a small part.
Yeah.
But credit to her, once she had her realization, I've got to change, she did.
Yeah.
And then we changed. And then we started to put processes in place and plans in place and thinking about things more. We used to give them so much choice, didn't we? Do you remember?
Oh, gosh. That was... We left Annabelle in the middle of the road once in Spain, didn't we? Because she could not decide what she wanted to eat.
That was when we were trying to, that was a kind of different thing.
I know.
Yeah, but, it wasn't a road, it was a pavement. But
no, but it's the street without the cars, like the old town street.
Yeah.
Not in the middle of the road with the car. No.
That's slightly going off track, but we used to throw everything but the kitchen sink at them. We can do this, we can do this, we can eat this, we can eat that, and they was like
overloaded.
Well, I don't know. They didn't know what way to go. One wanted to go that way, one wanted to go this way. Okay, how do we manage that? How do we keep that one happy and that unhappy? And once we took back control, once it's right, we are doing this.
We have to be out of the house by this time.
Yeah.
We are going to see this. We are going to eat this.
That was a massive game changer because actually they're children. They want a little bit of discipline. They want a bit of routine. They want to know where they're going. They don't want to be just thrown so much information. They make the choices that we should be making. And when we did that, that calmed things down a lot, didn't it? Because we kind of felt in control for the first time.
The main thing to me was when we started talking about things, and it was after the chat that we had in the kitchen, when we started talking about solutions, taking control, and this and that. And the main bit is that when one of us makes decision, we stick to each other. We have each other's back. Yeah, so let's say if you make a decision, I fully support you, and the same with the other one, so they don't get mixed messages.
Yeah.
Because there was situations when you say we're gonna do this, and then I come downstairs and I say we're gonna do this, sort of things.
Yeah.
So there was that consistency as well.
Being consistent was big, and I always struggled with that in the past, being consistency, because I got this hyper brain that will, that's a good idea, that's a good idea, let's do this, let's do that, and could change things quickly, which I know didn't please you too much.
No, I don't cope well with changes. I'm a lot better. But even one of the topics was the bedtime. Like I'm really strict with the bedtime. We don't get to see each other much, and I try to get the kids upstairs 8:30, so they are in their bedrooms from 9 o'clock. From 9 o'clock till 10, 10:30, we've got the kids free zone downstairs.
Adult time.
And there was the time when it was all tested, and there was a part of me thinking one is a lot older than the other one. Shall we just let it go? There was a few times when we did let it go, and there was the movie watching and this and that. But we made that decision together. No, this is what it is.
But look, when it's not the army, is it? It's not a regiment. We can let it go every now and again. You can, okay, tonight we will watch a little bit later into evening, a movie or whatever, as long as it's not every single time.
No, 9 o'clock is the time when the kids are
No,
upstairs.
Come on, don't be so tough.
No, 9 o'clock. Kids are upstairs. We've got 4 bloody kids. Yeah, that means you make breakfast, you make lunch, you make dinner, you clean after them, you entertain them, you go out, you listen to them talking about the dream for like half an hour, 45 minutes.
2 of them are in bed. Come on, they're too so young they cannot go to bed. But every now and again, you can give them a
9
little treat.
o'clock is the bedtime.
So harsh.
9 o'clock.
You can see what I'm dealing with here, can't you? Bloody hell.
You need to put the routine and the
Routine's good.
Yeah,
Routine
they need
is
it.
good, and they do need it.
Yeah.
And, you know, again, it has. I know you're a little stricter than I am when it comes to these things, and you know, I back you up.
Yeah.
You know, you write it's bedtime, and I do back you up, and I know they mess around for a little bit, and we have a little laugh and a joke and whatnot, but we pretty much get them into bed at the same time, and they benefit from that a lot because they've got that little routine. They know.
It's not just that we do so much, and they get tired, and if they don't get enough sleep, they get really cranky on the following day, which has got an impact on how the day goes.
Yeah. So coming together as a blended family, new relationships and different ideas. And, you know, you're Polish, I'm English. Even that kind of had different cultural differences. You know, you would say things that I wouldn't completely understand. Not because your English is bad or anything, but it just didn't understand. And I'm trying to think of an example, but there's always little intricacies, isn't there?
I think one of the examples is like you guys, you take me as I'm really bossy and I'm really direct. Us Eastern Europeans,
Eastern European.
we don't sugarcoat things. Yeah, if we're gonna go, we're gonna go now. If we're gonna do this, we're gonna do it now. And I think sometimes you take it like, ooh, what a control freak.
Well, yeah, because we're polite, us British. You know, we are the masters of queuing and waiting in line, and we don't speak until we're spoken to. And
please, would you mind putting your shoes on and then getting your coat? And please, would you mind making your way?
That's polite. You say, you
get out
shoes,
of my
now,
way.
coat, now, out.
And it
That's
happens. I get the things done.
You do. But it's different.
It's different. And we had to adapt. Like, I had to teach you that the way I say these things is not because I'm rude and I am a control freak. It's just the way I am. And then I had to accept the fact that you are laid back and you don't say things beyond just what's in front of you. Like that time when you stood right in the middle of the hallway, looking pretty, looking around when I'm getting Lucy ready, getting the baby ready, getting Elizabeth ready, running around, trying to get the baggie out. And you're still standing.
You probably told me to stand there. You probably said, you stand there, don't move. Okay.
No.
Sir.
That was not the case.
But we coped, didn't we?
We took things into our hands and we both took responsibility for things that were not working, and we made a plan on how to make it better. And we made that plan quite flexible. We're going to try this. If this doesn't work, we're gonna try something else.
I think the first thing was, do you want this relationship to work or not?
Yeah.
You know, yeah, I do. I believe in it. And okay, all right then. Well, it can't continue like this, can it? No, it can't. You know, something's got to give. Okay. And I know I had some coaching at the time. We had some counselling as well, didn't we? I had some coaching at the time. And a lot of that coaching was around me missing Annabelle so much and not being able to function properly and just being depressed. And how am I going to deal with that? And a large part of the coaching I had was me taking my mask off and showing her that I do love her and I do miss her. And I never had any problem showing her I loved her, but I missed her and I was sad. And her being with me did upset me. And that was huge. That was huge for me because I fought against that for weeks when my coach was kind of, I wouldn't say prompting me, but kind of You know, coaching is trying to bring it out of you, isn't it? And she was trying to bring it out of me, that, and I knew what she was doing. I knew she was trying to get me to say, yeah, I need to, you know, be vulnerable, and it'd be okay to take. Well, she didn't call it the mask; she called it the armor, my armor off. And I'd been so used to having that armor on all my life, I couldn't see any way of taking it off, and I couldn't see any benefit of taking it off. And I would fight with her, and I would say, no, I'm not doing that. You know, she will be upset if she sees me upset.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's not a good idea. I'm not going to do it. And it was almost like, well, what would the worst case scenario be? You know, what could happen? How could that change? You know, all these little questions that kind of planted little seeds in my mind, that I suddenly thought, well, can't continue where we are. That ain't working.
Nope.
Maybe I do need to give it a go. And there was something, I can't remember what I did, but I remember going back to her the week later and I said I did it and it was brilliant. I can't remember now.
Was it talking about how you feel when she's not with you?
Yeah, I think so. I think I had an open and honest conversation with Annabelle and I said, you know, like, this isn't real. When you go, I'm really sad.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's times when I come back from dropping you off and I just go and sit in your bedroom and I cry because I miss you so much. And for her to hear that was actually what she needed to hear. Yeah, she got sad, that is sad, but she was okay. She felt loved and she knew that
she felt missed and needed.
Yeah, she knew I wasn't just a machine that works and does fun things at the weekend. And I have got feelings and I can be hurt. And when she understood that, that contributed massively towards her changing.
And it's been amazing since then. The transformation, the journey that we had has been unbelievable.
Oh, and not just for us, but for the kids as well.
Yeah.
They've grown. You know, look at the way they're developing. You know, and the acceptance they've got of Lucy and Luke.
Yeah, we doubled our kids.
Yeah, we doubled the kids. It went so well, we thought we'd double down, have a couple more.
No,
you
but
know?
they have become so close. Them two. There's no competition anymore.
No, there isn't competition anymore. You know, they've accepted this is our life. It's not Taylors and Zambrushkas anymore.
But it's not just accepted. I think they realise this is fun.
Yeah.
This is
real.
This is real. This is. I think there was an element of both of them that we are gonna split up, and what's gonna happen next as well.
Yeah, and I think now we're engaged and we get married and we've got kids, extra kids. There is realization. This is for life now. This is happening, and that is not going to be setting up and coming back. And I'm okay with that. And I'm going to make the most of it. And actually, I get a bloody good deal when I'm over there as well.
Yeah.
Because kids are masters, aren't they, of working out what's good for them. They're just masters.
They're so good.
They're so good. We sometimes struggle, don't we? For us to say
if
what
I
we
milk
want.
this a little bit longer, this is what I might get.
Yeah, and you can see it in their brains, can't you? You can see their eyes flicking. They're working out. How can I get? Kids are the best salespeople in the world. We always say that, don't we? Kids, you know, you look at Lucy. She's 20 months, 23. Is she? Whoa. Yeah, she is, isn't she, mate? Yeah. She's the master at selling what she wants, isn't she? She'll just repeat and repeat and repeat what she wants until she gets it. And she
just goes and takes it.
She just goes and takes it. I love that.
No...
You know, it's just wonderful children. And there's so many lessons to be learned from watching your children.
Yeah.
I'm not saying just, if you want to say just repeat and repeat and repeat.
Or just go and take it.
Take it. There's better ways of doing that. But persistence and consistency and just never giving up. That's probably more of the lesson. So how did we really change it around? Yes, we was vulnerable. I certainly was vulnerable. I was open. I was honest. I showed my emotions. I allowed people to see the real me.
Yeah, I think for me, one of the biggest things was doing the love language test on the kids.
Yeah.
We did that on Elizabeth, and we did that on Annabelle.
Mm.
And Elizabeth's love language is the same as mine, quality time.
Mm.
She needs that little bit of time when you just give her attention and you don't have the distractions and you don't look at your mobile phone and you just do fun things with her. Annabelle's love language is the physical touch. And when I
Same as me.
when I learned that, I nearly cried because I thought I've been doing it completely wrong all along. Because since we got together, I said I will never do anything that might make Annabelle think that I'm trying to be like a mom to her. I'll give her the space. I'll wait for her to come to me, give me a hug when she's ready, give me a kiss when she's ready, and so on. But because physical touch is her love language, she needs them hugs. And me not giving them hugs to her makes her feel that I didn't love her and I didn't care about her. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and it started off with the little Annabelle, you did it really well. Oh, I really appreciate it, thank you, and stuff. And it made a massive difference. I mean, I got a card for Mother's Day from her last year, and it was so emotional, wasn't it? When she said, I love you and thank you for always including me, and you're the most amazing person I know, something along them lines.
Yeah, and what a turnaround, eh? Just by a little shift in how you communicate with someone.
Yeah.
And same with Elizabeth, you know. I always thought maybe hers was gifts, but it wasn't really, because, you know, when I first met her, she, you know, would ask lots of things, and you'd think, oh, she's into gifts, but she wasn't. She's into quality time. She wanted someone to spend time with her. And when I knew, we started to have a little date nights, didn't we? And, you know, just go out one-on-one, take her out of the house, give her a little bit of time, asked about her, show an interest in her, she would give you so much more.
Oh, she's like me. You give her the finger, she's going to give you the whole hand back. She gives back so much more. But knowing the love languages was a massive thing, because we knew how to love our children, and letting them know what our love language is was a big one as well, because they knew how to love us back. And then we made this agreement that we get alone time with them. You drive to London every other week to have a date with Annabelle, and you do it religiously. That's the time for you and Annabelle, nobody else. I take Elizabeth on the dates when I give her the time and the love and the attention. But when we're together, we do the family things. There's none of that nonsense of you locking yourself in the bedroom for hours and us waiting and looking at the clock thinking, are we going to do anything? We plan things, we do things together. We're the family, the Madhouse family.
Yeah.
I think coming up with the Madhouse phrase was a good thing as
well. It
unified
unified us, didn't it?
Yeah.
It was like a little bit of all of us. We're all a little bit loud, we're all a little bit crazy. It is mad.
Whose idea was it?
Probably mine.
No.
But it kind of made it everyone's house.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't just Annabelle's weekend house. It was her madhouse, our madhouse. And it made us all part of something.
Yeah.
And everybody then, for the first time in the relationship, started to get a little bit of what they needed.
Yeah.
Because we worked out what each of us needed. And we do that a lot in life. We treat people how we want to be treated ourselves. And it's wrong.
It's funny because I believed in that saying for so many
years. So did I. Most
and
people
it's
do.
just rubbish.
Yeah. Treat people how they want to be treated. Why would you treat someone how you want to be treated? You're not them.
We had so many ding-dongs because you treated me how you wanted to be treated. I treated you how I wanted to be treated.
I know, it was completely wrong, wasn't it? You know, I want a hug and a kiss, and, you know...
I want you to put your bloody phone away and listen to me and talk to me and be present.
I know. And I think we spoke about it before. Sorry if I'm repeating myself, but... Excuse me, I would see you in pain, and I would think, she needs a little bit of alone time.
Yeah, and that would be...
I'll go out and I'll leave her alone.
He knows I'm in pain. He knows I need a bit of support, a bit of reassurance, and he's just walking away.
But that's how I liked it.
Yeah.
You know, because you'd see me in pain and smother me.
Yeah.
And I'd be thinking, leave me alone. I hate this. I just want to be on my own for a bit. You know, because we was treating each other how we wanted to be treated ourselves. And we didn't realise that for a long time, did we? And when we actually realised that, And then I could see you in pain. I felt, okay, now Lee, you got to step up and you got to step in and you got to give her time and talk to her and, you know, find out what's going on, be interested.
Yep.
It was massive change. And actually running helped that massively because we get time together, didn't we? And we used to run, we still do, and talk to each other and have that quality time where we'd ask about each other and find out what we wanted and what we needed.
Yeah, we're not running this way because we've got men's flu.
Yeah. But I think the vulnerability was huge because even when we run together and you would ask me questions, if you'd have done that a few years ago, I wouldn't have opened up. I wouldn't have told you if I was lacking in something, if I wasn't happy with something. I would have sugarcoated it. I would have told you everything was fine, acted the man, and just hid behind the mask. But now I just take it off and tell you where it is. And if it's not right, we have a conversation about it. And we've learned that by talking and being honest with each other, we can now find ways to make things better.
Two heads are always better than one. And I still catch you thinking about things and not talking about them. But you're so much better cleaning it out.
Yeah, I've not completely kicked that habit of chatting internally to myself because I've had, you know, many years of doing that. So it's difficult to just let go of something. But I recognise it doesn't serve me well anymore.
No.
And I recognise when I'm doing it. And I've got you to help me recognise it as well if I do forget. And it's generally when I get a little bit angry with something, you know, like them idiots the other day when we was queuing up for that ride at the thing, and we'd been queuing there for a while, and then they just walked straight up to the front and put their kids on the ride and whoosh, they was off. And it was, that irks me. I get so angry with that, and I'll you know, talk to myself about what I'm going to say to them when they come back round again, and how much of a mouthful I'm going to give them, and
what's the point?
But you're right. What is the point? You know, it doesn't solve anything, does it? But I still got that little bit in me that if I get a little bit wound up, I can't help it. But I'm getting better. I'm not as bad as I used to be.
No, I think we both went on such an amazing journey of transformation. Because I'm in a completely different place now to where I was a few years ago, and the same with you. And the best outcome of the whole journey is that we learn to talk to each other.
Yeah, and quite often that's what we say on this show, isn't it? We end up talking about communication.
Because
solves everything.
You were talking about my blow-ups, and all of them blow-ups were down to the fact that I did not talk to you about things that were bothering me. I would just let it build up. And then one little thing backs it all off. Yeah. And it would be like, what the hell did just happen? 5 minutes ago, I was right up here. I was the hero, and then
boom. But then I would also contribute by hiding, pretending. Then it couldn't take it anymore, and boom, it would come crashing down.
I would say maybe for the first 2 years of our relationship, we didn't really know anything about each other.
No, we probably didn't know a lot, or nowhere near as what we do now.
Yeah.
It was, I think there was that physical attraction that's still there, and
I started smoking behind your back, and hiding, and skipping to mother songs 10 times a week.
Because you wanted to have that stress relief of a cigarette, and there was a lot that was wrong in the relationship, and there was good stuff as well, you know. And we did. It was very passionate.
But passion is not everything.
No, it's not everything. There was a big attraction there, and I think if we hadn't have had such a big attraction, we would have probably not made it.
If passion is not everything, what would you say are the fundamentals of the relationship? A happy relationship? I
think honesty, being open, being vulnerable, knowing what you stand for as a person, and knowing what your partner stands for, and not compromising on that. You know, not bending to please somebody else. You know, you've got to look after yourself, and when you look after yourself, you can look after others. And I encourage you to look after yourself, and You encourage me to look after myself. And when we become happy because we are looking after ourselves, we can look after other people. But it's understanding you're different to me and I'm different to you. And that's okay. Isn't it?
Acceptance.
Well, yeah, we accept it. And we're not always going to agree.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we're going to clash. And I'll have opinions. You'll have opinions. It's okay to have opinions.
That's my
I
saying.
know. I nicked it. I stole it.
You're a bit of an expert.
I'm a bit of an expert on that one. But it is. It's okay. And it's not. We're not judging each other, are we? We're not. Okay. Well, you're wrong and I'm right. It's your opinion. That's okay. So when you know who you are as a person, you have principles and morals, and you know what you stand for. I think it makes it easier. Not letting kids rule your life.
Have you say so?
Have you say so? Let them know you care. Let them know the real you. And I think that's the biggest thing. When people know the real you, they know how to communicate with you. If you put up an image of something that's not real, a lie, a mask, an armour, whatever you want to call it, how are people supposed to know how to deal with you? So just be open and honest. What have we got to lose? Like my coach said to me with my daughter, what have we got to lose? What could happen? What could be the benefit? Okay. Take it off. And you know what? When you're not pretending anymore, when you're not trying to put this armour up to portray to people you are this when you're really this, you have so much more energy because you're not pretending you're something else. It's exhausting.
So who would you say the real you is?
I think I'm a loving person. I think I'm more emotional than what I thought I was or what I led myself to be. I'd never cried. I would never ever cry. And when the coach was, well, what would happen if you cried? I could never envisage myself crying. I would say to her, I probably wouldn't stop. I just wouldn't be able to stop. I knew that probably wasn't true, but I just never wanted to switch it on. But if I cry now, I'm much more in tune with myself, I think. I don't pretend to be anything I'm not anymore. I'm just me. I'm hopefully a loving partner, husband to be, a good father, good stepfather. I care about my kids, and reasonable businessman. Exceptional coach. I think and the main thing is I'm happy. I'm happy. I don't, some of the material things and the needs and wants that I thought I had years gone, they're not there anymore. I've got you. What more do I want? I don't need any more. We've got a nice life and we've carved it out very, very well by talking, communicating, being vulnerable, being honest, listening. That's a massive thing as well, isn't it? I think I listen now. I never used to listen, did I? I always had too much to say. I always had too much advice to give.
I said my lip.
Well, it's true. I could advise people till the cows come home on what to do and how to do it, and whatever problem people had, I always had some advice. And I've learnt now, actually, I don't know everything. And my advice might not be the right advice. And if I listen more, then I can help people more. So I've changed hugely since I met you. Massively. A different person.
I'll make it the last question because we're 54 minutes.
Ooh.
So how is you being you and not pretending serving you in life?
I got more energy. I know I used to get so tired and so drained because I was constantly putting on a mask to keep people happy and show people I'm this person and you can be like me and I will make everything right for you. Don't have to do that anymore. I understand that actually you know how to put things right yourself. Our kids know how to put things right. If they need some advice and help, I can help them. I don't need to worry about any of that. I don't need to take everybody's problems on my shoulders. and I can just be me, and that serves me well because you don't have to constantly think. You just got energy. You can go to sleep at night, without worrying about everybody else's problems or how you're going to pretend to everybody that everything's okay. So I'd say it serves me well because it's just given me so much energy. I'm not so drained anymore. I used to have such a foggy brain because I wouldn't sleep well at night and I would wake up tired. Still wake up tired at the moment because we've got 2 kids who are really young and they don't sleep through the night. And that's not our fault, is it? But you know what I mean. I wake up now and I'm energized. I want to do things. I can't wait to work. I can't wait to see the kids. There's so much life in me now. Whereas before, I don't think I had the energy to enjoy my life before. I was tired all the time. Would you say that's fair?
I think
Judgment?
that's not for me to judge. It's about how you feel. So considering all these benefits of not pretending, taking the mask off, what would be your advice to our lovely listeners?
I think the advice would be, if you feel like you're in a hole, you're tired all the time, maybe a bit depressed, you're pretending to be something you're not to keep other people happy, you got to realise it's not your responsibility to keep other people happy. It's your responsibility to keep yourself happy. It's your responsibility to look after yourself. And when you do that first, then you can help other people. Then you'll have the energy to want to do things. Then you'll have the energy to make a difference to somebody else's life if you need to. So don't spend your life trying to keep other people happy. That's their responsibility. Happiness is a choice. At the end of the day, people can choose to be happy or not. If they choose not to be happy, there's nothing you can do about that. Make sure you choose to be happy. Take that mask off. Just be you. People like you for what you are. That's great. If they don't, it's great. It doesn't matter, does it? You don't need that many people to like you. It's like this show, isn't it? If people like it, great. If they don't, great. It doesn't matter. As long as some people get some benefit out of it, then we're happy. So yeah, ditch the mask, ditch the armour. Stop running around trying to keep everybody happy. Concentrate on yourself. Look after yourself first.
Love it.
And I think that's the way you'll enjoy your life to the max.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we've got an idea for the next episode because there's a lot of different opinions about what's better, loving other people or loving yourself first. And a lot of people think that you're a bit of a narcissist if you love yourself first.
I don't have any problem
you're a bit
with that.
Selfish, I know.
Yeah, love yourself.
I always said you're such a vain.
You did, yeah. Actually, the first thing you said to me, I think, when we met, you're so vain.
No, I said such a vain, and you were taking the Mickey out of me. This is so wrong.
I don't think you can help anyone if you can't look after yourself.
Yep.
Look after yourself.
That's it.
Make yourself happy. And once you do that, it's life-changing.
Well, you need to save yourself first if you want to save other people. Even when you're on the plane and they do all this,
I was just going to say that.
These actions of safety and stuff, they say that if the pressure of the oxygen falls down, you put your mask first, you look after yourself first. Because if you can't help yourself and something happens to you, you can't help anybody else.
No.
I think we went over the time that we said that we would be doing this.
We were going to shorten it today, weren't we?
Yeah.
Maybe about 20 minutes. Because we did a radio show before this, which was
we...
really sort of great. We recorded this for the radio. So this is the second time of doing it in many ways. And we thought, we'd condense it down. But as per usual, you just don't stop talking.
I asked you 3 questions. And it took like 28 minutes to answer them.
Okay. Hope that was useful. Hope that helped. And we will see you again soon. Bye for now.
Bye-bye. I need to go wee-wee.
We're still recording, you know.
Yeah,
that.
I do, but I do need to wee-wee.